not sure how long my signal will last. It's always spike. Didn't want to go like a couple hours and not come back, y'all, because I don't know if I'll be able to broadcast down there. And I said I'd be back in 5-ish minutes. I know it was more like 15, but Staples is not expedient. Hey, Michael. Well, see, I'm whooped, y'all. Whooped. I am trying to muster my energy and show that I'm not whooped, but I am whooped. We are 2 days and counting from election day. Less than 2 days, technically. Y'all need to get out and vote. If you haven't voted, you need to vote. Right now I'm having back and forth conversations with certain people regarding voting early versus voting on the day it happens. I'm a little perturbed by the arguments I'm having regarding that, because what's your thought on it? I mean, do you vote early or not vote at all if you can't vote on voting day? Do you wait until voting day? What do you do? You know, does it even matter at this point? I believe it does. I think that 16 showed the overwhelming system. Like, people overwhelmed the system, and that's when they started to figure out that they almost got caught. So a hand was played after that, and it was a very obvious hand. So, you know, the question is, if you overwhelm the system while other people are trying to cheat the system, then eventually they get caught, you think. Not that I'm pertaining to anything that could possibly be going on at all, or has gone on. You know, we don't need another strike. But what do you do? People that have decided that they don't want to vote because they can't bring themselves to vote for the lesser of two evils, and it's pointless to vote for someone that's not in the two-party system, because, you know, it's not going to count either. And I saw, and I can't even quote it right now, that made perfect sense to me, and the gist of it was basically like, you know, even if you can't bring yourself to vote for lesser evils, you really want the evil actually in, because you just not voting, simply not voting, is not going to bring about anything. So, the system's got to be changed. We all know this. How do you change it? The fun part is that you're fighting against the same people on both sides. Except, I think they said this year, this is one of the first elections where there's been more outside average Americans stepping up to the plate to run, which we should. We can't let them convince us that we don't mean anything, we don't matter, that that's something we can't do. I don't know what congressman it was. There's a congressman, I think he was from Utah years ago. Average American slept in his office all the time. You know why? Because he didn't have the money to go out and buy a place or rent a place or a hotel or anything, and he wouldn't take the money, good for him, from people that were offering. Like, you know, there's a guy in Dallas that basically pays for AOC's lavish fucking lifestyle. Who's she voting for? Whose will is she doing, you know? If we're gonna make a change, you know, then we have to stand up and do it and make those sacrifices. Send a video, Monkeyworks, the developer of the Skyglass computer system. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you always. All of us are doing that, you know. Co-founders of USLA are amazing. We're all making sacrifices in different ways. We're all working. We're all doing everything we can. We're putting everything into this because this is important. You know, I kept telling everyone all weekend that I met, if we all could put it in just 60 minutes a week of time, just our time, whether it be moderating, you know, social media or research or phone calls or emailing, like, you know, the educational packets to 10 or 15 people a week or something like that. Hey, Bam Bam. And we all put in this time, all these people that believe in their country and believe in our liberties and, you know, all this, we put in that 60 minutes a week. How fast can we make a change? Huge. We get so caught up in the psychological we're being bombarded with. You know, it's abuse. I'm gonna go back to it. We are being abused by the government. Period. Exclamation point. End of discussion. Everything they are doing is a form of abuse. They are barraging people with negative influence. They are trying to convince you that you are dumb. They are trying to question your value. They're trying to dehumanize you. They are trying to make you question your sanity. They are playing these sociopathic games where, you know, sociopaths will accuse you of something. And whatever they accuse you of is exactly what they're doing, only they're accusing you of it to deflect attention from them doing it, actually doing it. If I didn't run you in circles on that. Very common, very common. And then when you catch them and you call them out on it, they get real calm, real peaceful, quiet, while you're just pissed. All of a sudden, you're the crazy one because you've been driven to the point where you're pissed. And then they get super... It's just a game. It's a effed up psychological game. And at minimum, a lot of these people are sociopaths. At maximum, they are psychopaths, which is a sociopathic individual that is beyond psychopaths. Been through it. A lot of us have. People who have been abused have been through it. They know exactly what's going on. The fear-mongering. Psychological fear-mongering. Oh, if you don't do this, you're going to die. Oh, if you don't do that, your children are going to die. Oh, you know, if you don't... What they're doing right now. Oh, if you don't get out and vote, democracy is going to die. Well, you know what? Let democracy die. We don't live in a democracy. We live in a constitutional republic, please. Everybody, we need to start remembering we live in a constitutional republic. I don't care about a democracy. But their point is, it's going to die. If you don't get the badge of honor, you're going to die. If you don't do this, you're going to die. Everybody's going to die. You can only fear people so much. You know, bring them into fear so much so they burn out with it. Hopefully, people are burning out with it. Getting sick and tired that everything's going to die. Well, we're still freaking here. Most of us understand that we can't continue on the trajectory we're going because it might eventually lead to that, but it's not going to be tomorrow. I mean, a lot of these people that have been fortunate to live a relatively average life, you know, without a lot of heartache and abuse, bless their hearts, man, beautiful souls, but that's how they're getting hoodwinked because they haven't been through it. And you don't know it until you've been through it. And it takes time to figure it out. Like when you've been abused for so long, you think you're this tall. You don't know how to get out of it. Everyone always wonders why these women stay all the time. Because when you beat someone up enough on all levels, physical, emotional, spiritual, whatever, their worth is so minute that they start to believe, aren't they lucky that anyone's even just slightly kind to them? Slightly kind to them. That that's all they deserve to get is that much. And that the moment they make this mistake, that they deserve to be punished for it. It's a effed up mindset. And how dare those people do that to another person? Anybody do it to another person. But you get out of it and you start to realize it. But you can easily go back and forth. I do. Some people can get me. The closest people to me can get me. That's about it. But these other people that have never been through this, they don't even know. They don't even know. And then they fight. It's called Stockholm Syndrome. Look it up if you don't know what it is. It's where you get to the point that you have affection, you have care, for your captor. Like a lot of these people in our lives that don't understand are good-hearted people, and they have Stockholm Syndrome. And I told everyone this weekend, we've been so divided that we literally have to start with the fundamental of good versus evil. Period. I knew this when I spoke in Hagerstown, when I was filled with the Spirit. That's what the Spirit had me say. It's the truth. And I'll say it again, whether you believe in God or not. We know it's the fight between good and evil. And we're just gonna have to start with that fundamental. People on the other side, people we disagree with, do we think they're evil? For the most part, no. Do they think we're evil? I hope not. But, you know, these people taking their kids to these strip shows of men just as women, they're strip shows. Would you take your child to a stripper bar? This is what this is. You know, I don't believe that they're trying to be evil. I think they're trying to teach their kids to be inclusive and tolerant. And that's based on the goodness of their heart. They're just misguided, unfortunately. And, you know, that's kind of where I'm at. Would you take your kids to a stripper bar? I guess that's what I'm about to start asking people, because it's one thing to have someone that is a drag queen. Like, I've interacted with Lady Maga, very nice individual, very against grooming children. Thank you. Doesn't matter whether I agree with that person's lifestyle or not. It's their choice to make. But we're supposed to leave these kids alone. Let them grow up. It doesn't make these parents evil. I believe they have good hearts. It's just, how do we reach out to that? So we have to start with the fundamentals of good versus evil. Do you believe in good? Do you believe in evil? You know? We gotta bridge the gaps with these people. We gotta quit fighting. We gotta put our emotions aside. They got enough emotions barraging them from the other side anyway. That's why they're so freaking emotional. You know, obviously our emotions override our rationality a lot of times. We have to be very self-aware in order to be able to counteract that. Not everybody's like that. Most people aren't. I have times I'm not. I can pick out the rational side anytime, but sometimes emotions override rationality. And that's a psychological consequence. And they know that. They freaking know that. So remember, have a little compassion towards some of these people. Even though we get angry, have some compassion. Understand, they've been conditioned this way from day one. I don't know how some of us managed to counteract it. By the grace of God, whatever. But these people have been conditioned this way. So we have to have some mercy and compassion toward them and find a ground to start with. I had to look, see, make 7 more miles. Brainwash people. Wednesday morning's power. Greatest destroying democracy, they're greatest destroying their power. Yeah, Michael, I agree. You know what? We we are going to keep holding out hope and working hard at fighting the good fight for righteousness and goodness. Everyone's on the part about Revelations, that we're in Revelations, and we're definitely in end times, whether it be 10 years, 100 years, 1,000 years, it's an end time. My understanding of things keeps growing a lot bigger than I would ever thought, more open. And I also think there's been other times that we were in Revelations and at end times, and enough people reached out and said enough and stopped it. Maybe, nobody knows. It's not for us to know. That's why I find it funny when people say, "Oh, this day is going to be the end of the world." I know it's not scripturally, because it says no man will know. So we have to stop these people from playing God, though. How do they take away our life force? How do they change transhumanism? That's what they're going for. Some of them have this knowledge, so deep knowledge. Obviously they have a deep knowledge. Where'd that knowledge come from? You have light and dark. We know darkness. We know that, if you believe in the adversary, we know that he has that knowledge. That knowledge is getting given to these people. How do you destroy a people and keep them from ascending? You destroy their humanism. This third strand DNA, they're playing God. Period. They've been doing it for a long time. It's getting out of control now. It's beyond out of control. Point of singularity. We're getting to a point of singularity. It is, to me, starting to get frightening. And we can't keep going on what we're doing. And I don't mean just us. I mean them. And we can't keep going along with it. We have to teach people it's okay not to comply. I keep telling people all the time, I've tried to live my life right. I've tried to follow the rules. Whose rules am I following? Look, man, if you aren't following the same rules, then I have no obligation to your rules. That's how I feel now. And I've been explaining that to people too. I'm like, if they're not going to follow the rules, we have no obligation to follow their rules or that rules, or just don't hurt anybody. Follow the moral rules, the moral code. So, I don't know. It's getting into some interesting times. A lot of people being called to rise up, come together. These children that were at this tour were amazing. Just bright spirits. They're being called early. We have to nurture them, protect them, not keep them from all bad, but they've got to know what's out there in the bad, but nurture them, teach them there is bad, what it is, how to counteract it, how to spot it. These kids are amazing. It just makes my heart full of joy to see them out there interacting with these adults at these things. It reminds me of me when I was younger. So, these are who we're doing it for. We have to. They're like literally one generation away, man. They've been working so hard on these kids. And there's two things I've noticed. They're raising a generation without identity in a paradoxical manner by telling them they can be anything, but they're so anything that they have no identity to fall back on. They have no foundation. They don't even know who they are ever, because it changes from one day. It's brilliant, to be honest. It's a brilliant psychological technique. Bravo, guys. Look what you did. And they're raising them as perpetual children by taking away responsibility and self-restraint and accountability so that they become perpetual children. And if you're in a psychological state of a perpetual childhood, you're always looking for an authoritative figure. The government. Brilliant. You can't argue it. Then you have whole generations of adults that are constantly looking at